This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Good night, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for April 18, 2023. And in the news tonight, cops seek pastor following murder at the St. James Beach. Police are searching for a man following the chopping death of another at the Fisherman's Beach in Montego Bay, St. James on Monday. The dead man, only identified as Cornelius Spence, was attacked as he slept at the beach, police reported. Lawmen have since been searching for a man known only as Pastor, who they believe can assist with their investigations into the early morning murder. It was reported that around 6 a.m., Spence was on the beach sleeping when he was attacked with a machete. The police said several wounds were inflicted on his body. The authorities were alerted, and the now deceased assisted to the Cornwall Regional Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. No motive has yet been established for the attack. The police are asking Pastor to hand himself over to the nearest police station. Teen among 4 arrested in lottery scam operation. A teen is among 4 people who were arrested on Tuesday by members of the lottery scam task force following a police operation at the 2 rates in West Village in Montego Bay, St. James. The operation emanated from an investigation at a business process outsourcing company. Charged with the possession of identity information with intent are a 14-year-old student whose identity has been withheld, 21-year-old Jose Leslie, Devosito Cumberland, and the 19-year-old Omarion Hall. The accused are to appear in the St. James Parish Court on June 7, 2023. Committal hearing set for St. James murder accused. A committal hearing has been set for a 21-year-old man who allegedly fatally shot another along the Hendon-Norwood Main Road in St. James in October last year. Kirk Lawson is charged with the murder of 32-year-old Giovanni Barnett, also known as Biggs, of Cherry Gardens in Norwood in the parish. When the matter came up for mention in the St. James Parish Court on Tuesday, the court was told that the case file was complete. Presiding Parish Judge Session Marie Smith Ashley instructed the clerk of court to serve the prosecution's bundle on the defense on or before May 10. Lawson, otherwise called Kirky, of Columbia Square, also in Norwood, was remanded in police custody. He is being represented by attorney-at-law Michael Hemmings. It is alleged that about 7:15 p.m. on October 7 last year, residents reported hearing multiple loud explosions along the Hendon-Norwood Main Road and called the police. Barnett was later found lying on his back in a pool of blood on a section of the road, suffering from several gunshot wounds to the upper body, and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The police in St. James have also charged Lawson in connection with a shootout with the cops on February 18, but that case is being heard in the Western Regional Gun Court. The police reported that about 9:50 p.m., a team was on operation in Hendon-Norwood when they saw Lawson walking along the road. His actions aroused their suspicion, and upon their approach, Lawson allegedly opened fire at the police team, who returned the fire. One of the police officers was shot during the exchange. The officer was taken to the hospital for treatment, where Lawson later showed up with a gunshot wound and was kept on the police guard. He was later charged with wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and 2 counts of shooting with intent. The case is scheduled to be heard in the gun court on May 25. A committal hearing is a preliminary hearing held in the parish courts when a person has been charged with an indictable offense. This hearing is held to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to justify sending the defendant to stand trial before a judge and a jury in the circuit court. U.S. police reveal details of capture of suspect in slaying of Ricky Trooper's daughter. Information has emerged that a man who was wanted by the police in Connecticut for the shooting death of Brianna McCoy, the daughter of popular Jamaican disc jockey Ricky Trooper, was nabbed in the state of Ohio after briefly trying to elude the cops. Details about the arrest of Derek Francis, who also uses the name Ainsley Forbes, was reported by several media outlets in Connecticut, citing the Bridgeport Police Department. Francis is being held in Ohio as a fugitive from justice, said Bridgeport Police Captain Kevin Gilleran, according to the online publication Patch. The Bridgeport police say Francis's vehicle was pulled over by cops from the Solon, Ohio Police Department on Monday. It is reported that he jumped out and ran from the vehicle, but was quickly detained. A loaded firearm was found in the vehicle Francis was driving, according to the police. He is being held in lieu of a US $3 million bail bond, and his deportation back to Connecticut is pending. Brianna McCoy, 23, was found unresponsive on April 6, around 11:20 a.m. inside her condominium in Bridgeport. An infant was found unharmed inside a home following the shooting. Francis, whom McCoy was dating, was subsequently named as a suspect in the killing. Caribbean leaders to declare war on guns are coming from the U.S. Caribbean leaders have announced that they will be declaring a war on guns from the United States as the region continues to grapple with gun violence. The leaders today issued a call for the United States to prevent guns manufactured in that country from entering the Caribbean. Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago Keith Rowley says the U.S. has a role to play in reducing the number of guns in the Caribbean. The regional leaders have agreed to send a letter to the U.S. outlining the issues. He says CARICOM heads will also ban the use of assault weapons in the civilian population. The leaders, who participated in a two-day regional symposium on violence, discussed a number of issues including the sharing of forensic labs, implementation of a CARICOM arrest warrant, and the reform of the justice system.
And I have every confidence that the United States President and his administration will understand the pain that we are feeling, and we're backing it up with evidence and solid information that this threat is not just real, it is big experience, not as a threat alone, but enough of it has already been experienced. These little islands in the Caribbean cannot sustain for much longer the death rate and the economic destruction that this wanton use of arms and ammunition is wreaking on us.
Permanent Secretary in the Health Ministry takes issue with the findings in AG's report. It was a defensive Dunstan Bryan who appeared before today's sitting of the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, examining the Auditor General's report into the operations of the Ministry of Health. The performance audit was to gauge the strength of the country's institutional framework to support a strong and resilient public health system. The audit unearthed several deficiencies in how the ministry handled a number of issues, including the COVID-19 pandemic. Auditor General Pamela Monroe Ellis says she is not convinced that the hundreds of millions of dollars had been well spent. But Mr. Bryan, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Health, took issue with elements of the audit report, stating that key information was missing from the audit. In her report, the Auditor General concluded that despite prepared management plans and protocols in response to previous public health emergencies, such as the Zika and the chikungunya viruses, there was no evidence that the Health Ministry assessed and documented the lessons learned from these health emergencies and incorporated post-event reviews to support the response to future health emergencies.
We are missing context. We're missing context, and that is the problem here. You know what the other problem is, Chairman? The fact of the matter is, and it's a problem that I have with the Auditor General in general, the department, not the individual, it's the department I'm talking about. The majority of our funds are expended in the region. Nothing in the report about the utilization of resources at the operational level. Audits are critical to good governance and management. I support, ask my internal auditor. I support audit. I stand behind them. Because I can't see it's $113 billion that I have to expend this year. Without audits, I am blind. This audit, I contend, was subpar.
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.